Welcome to the Talk and Chatter experience powered by Gasoline Alley Harley Davidson, Pirelli Motorcycle Tyres Australia, and TCX Boots. Welcome, Harry Voight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What do you like to be called? Is it Harry or Harrison? What's the go there, mate? What's the go-to?
Well, honestly, all my logos got Harry Voight on it, so yeah, I go with Harry pretty much.
Yeah, I thought that would be the case because everywhere I see your name and hear it, I thought, we'll start with Harry. I'll ask the question, then we'll fire up and see what the go is, mate. So, who's Harry Voight?
A kid from the Gold Coast, races motorbikes over in Europe, and yeah, he's having fun while he's doing it.
Mate, you've been on a run. Like, you've been on the gas. Obviously, you came home at the end of last year, at the end of 2022. You had to get some things cleaned up. I guess that was one thing. And since then, you've been riding bikes a fair bit here and training, practicing and everything else. What have you been up to?
Yeah, so I come home after the last round of RedBull rookies. I think that was around about November. And yeah, exactly. I come home, got some screws taken out. I was originally going to get the rods taken out of my whole leg, but considering with how it is, we weren't sure if to take them out or not. So the doctor said, just keep them in and we'll just remove the screws. So I recovered from that around about this December. Took me a few weeks to hobble around again. And then, yeah, obviously I've been home for quite a while now. Just getting ready to go back to Europe in a couple of weeks. And, yeah, I've been running heaps.
Mate, tell me about your experience in RedBull rookies. Like, it's something that a lot of people within the sport would love to get into. It's very hard to get into, like incredibly difficult to get into. Tell me about your experience in that.
Yeah, my experience honestly was unreal. Like, childhood dream. It was awesome. I got promoted into Red Bull from Major Talent Cup. I got a call up when I was in quarantine 2020, doing the quarantine in Brisbane, and yeah, people from Dorna said, we'd like to promote you into the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup, and I was honestly speechless. Yeah, it's been a very, very good opportunity, and I'm very grateful for it.
Mate, was it on the radar at all at that point when you're sitting in quarantine, or was that just a random out of the blue phone call?
Well, I applied for the Red Bull Rookies, the application was open, and obviously I signed to do Moto3 Junior with Paulo, and yeah, I put my name in because I thought I need to try and make it to the next step. And yeah, they called me up and they said, it was actually before they announced it on social media, and they said, we're going to put you in, but just like keep it quiet until then. And honestly, I was so excited, but I was like trying to stay calm, not to tell anyone.
Because you're sitting in quarantine too, like you get all this energy through you. You get cool like that, you're like, there'd be so much to contain, mate.
Oh yeah, I was so bored. It was just Dad and I sharing a room, and yeah, obviously 14 days of it, so we're getting bored. Yeah. Sitting inside, and then to get that type of phone call, it was a bit of a buzz, and I just felt like doing stuff, but sitting in a box.
Ultimate pick me up. Like, when you get like 10 days into that silly thing or something, to get a call like that, those last 4 days would be a breeze. I reckon it's just like, all right, I can get through this now. So, because 14 days, mate, that is a killer time, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, you obviously started in karts. Well, not obviously, I know you started in karts, but how did it all start for you?
Yeah, well, I started in go-karting at the age of 7 out of Ipswich. Kind of didn't get put into it, but Dad comes from racing cars. Yep. And so I kind of grew up around race cars, and yeah, I love race cars, and that's what I wanted to do originally. Start off in go-karting and try and make it to supercars or something. That was like my vision. But yeah, I was getting helped by Aaron and Glenn Seaton as they live around the corner from us. Right. And yeah, it kind of started from there, and it's just for fun, and I was enjoying it a lot, but yeah, I didn't enjoy it as much. And then Dad found out, I think he was in a rundle or something, he heard the bikes going down at Mike Hatch's. Yep. And yeah, he was like really surprised because obviously the club shut down for quite a few years. Yep. And yeah, he literally bought me like Pee-wee 50, and then he took me down to Hatch's, and yeah, it all kind of started from there. And yeah, my passion kind of went away from karts and 4 wheels and steered towards 2 wheels.
So is that like a quick transition? Like you want to drive a supercar, that as a goal, that is something you go, okay, this is something I can do. Till all of a sudden you get on a bike. Did that goal of that just sort of just fade?
Yeah, it did fade pretty quick. Yeah, my passion for bikes, yeah, I can't describe it, honestly. It's a good feeling to have, and yeah, I've been doing it for quite a while now. Yeah, each day I love it.
I I don't know how you do it, and I rode with you in Coffs in January, right? And I'm going to say this very faintly. I rode with you because you rode past me and through me, outside me, everything, right? So I didn't ride with you, but I was on the track at the same time. And the trust you have in a bike, phenomenal. Like, I don't know how you do it. I just don't know how. There's a particular time, I got on camera, I'll put it up to this as well. You came past me, you know, that last corner at Coffs,
yeah,
onto the straight. And like the thing, like you nearly had the peg scraping on this loose track, and just everything that was going on at once. Like the bike was coming around, then you, like, just so much to process. How do you process things?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I guess
Yep.
I'm a bit of a goon, I guess. But yeah, I started from dirt, did flat track for quite a while. So that's basically my background, flat track, obviously, and then I steered onto road. But yeah, I did flat track for many years. Biggest rival was Tom Drain and Archie McDonald, but mainly Tom.
Yep.
So yeah, I learned a lot being like racing against Tom and stuff, and obviously now I haven't been racing flat track or riding it as much, but when I do, I always love it.
Yeah, it's a cool feeling. It's such a raw sport still. You know, there's not much like it. You know, you basically could just go put on a tire and just go and ride.
Yeah, it's like, compared to the tire, like, you got to spend lots of money. Obviously, in flat track, you still spend a lot of money. You want a good bike and whatnot. But yeah, for like that buzz and like getting the adrenaline pumping for 4 laps, like, just like no mucking around, straight into it, like, it's a good feeling. I love that. It gives me like a good buzz, and yeah, it makes me like love the sport even more.
So how do you transfer from, and we'll touch more about the dirt track over the years and flat track. How do you transfer from riding 4 laps into doing like a rookies race where there's multiple laps and stuff? How do you get your brain up to the speed of doing so many laps compared?
Not really sure, honestly. Obviously, I've been training a lot, and you kind of get used to trying to like ride for half an hour flat out compared to 4 laps in flat track. So honestly, the flat track was good because those 4 laps, in a final, you try not to make a mistake. If you want to win, like, it's all on the line. And I remember I'd almost spew every single time before a final because I wanted to win so bad.
Yep.
I didn't want to make any mistakes. So yeah, like, your focus, you're a lot more aware of what's going on. And I think that's kind of helped me go to road because, like, you have, I don't know, like 15 laps. So it's not as bad.
Yep.
But those first couple of laps, if you make a mistake or you got to make it happen, like, it's helped a lot.
So the first 2 laps in road racing is like 4 laps in flat track. You know that they're so crucial, isn't it? If you lose a gap or make a mistake, you're in a 15-lap race. You've got 13 laps of just trying to pay back that mistake. You know, it's pretty hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult, especially in the RedBull and Moto3 Junior. It's just a dogfight. Like, it's just constantly battling. Sometimes you might be able to break away, but other times you're in a battle with 10 to 5 guys that all want to win. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, every single lap was just full on.
So how do you start as a junior? You ride a Pee-wee 50. Like, a Pee-wee 50 is the natural start for everyone. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember it. It was funny because I was riding. I was obviously quite big for the Pee-wee. I was like 7 years old. Yep. And you know how, like, the Pee-wee had like the 2 suspensions on like the back? Yeah, and I hit a bum and it flew out.
Seriously, like actual suspension, like the spring or something?
Yeah, the spring popped out. So yeah, I remember it, and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Now, you've kept a few of your bikes over the time. Do you still have your Pee-wee?
Yeah, I've still got my Pee-wee.
Yeah, cool.
It's funny. He tried to keep all my bikes, like the ones that are important. He's got my Pee-wee, 85, 80 mod, and then I think I've still got my 250 and stuff that I'm still riding. Yep.
Yeah, it's cool to be able to do that, you know, and like my Pee-wee, I know where it's at from being a kid, and I got that in 1987. Yeah. So, but it's never getting sold back to me. I want it. I could never ride it, obviously, but I would like to have it. But they're classic machines, Pee-wee 50s. Like, every rider's ridden them. Like, everyone that's ridden has basically started on those, you know? Yeah,
and it's like, it's a good feeling when you find your proper bike. Like, Dad's kept a lot of his bikes. Like, he's managed to find them. The guy that helps me with being my mechanic, Paul Lockhart, he restores most of those old bikes.
Yep.
and he managed to find majority of those bikes that Dad raced. So he like would buy them and send them to Paul and like redo them up like how they were originally. So yeah, literally at Dad's workshop, he's got my bikes and then he's got like a stack of his ones and a few others that it's not his, but he raced before.
Because Paul Lockhart, he was a pretty good racer too, I believe, in his time.
Yeah, he was good. He's got a lot of footage of like all the old races, like so many you could just sit there all week rewatching Troy and people like that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I do remember, like, when you just said his name, I see him pop up on a lot of the flat track Facebook pages and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's his video footage a lot of the time. So that's Paul Lockhart, your mechanic as well.
Yeah, so he's been helping me and he done a few of my 80 mods back in the day and yeah, he's interested in helping me and I really appreciate it.
So at 7 years old, how long did you stay on that Pee-wee? Did you swap it out pretty quick?
I went up the grades a lot, honestly, in the 18 months, because I was like 7, 8, 9. I went from that to the Divi 2, which I didn't like as much, 65 and then 80, and then 85 and all that. So yeah, it was a pretty big progression in those couple of years, but it was fun.
When did the travel start? Like, obviously Mike Hatch is a local circuit. It's a great circuit to have, and looks like we're there for another year or whatever. There's more works happening, which is cool. When did the travel start? Because as a flat track racer, man, you got to do some miles. Yeah,
well, my first ever title event, I think it was at Barley Ranch, I think New South Wales titles.
Yep.
I think it was like 2015 or something. I was racing against Tom and all that. And yeah, it was my first time. I was racing 80 mod and the 65. I think I got 4th in both. I can't remember. I was 3rd on the 65 and then Tom rode around the outside of me in the last corner.
Wow.
But yeah, that's where it all started and yeah, it was so cool.
So as a club rider, you were quick back then?
It took a bit, but yeah, I got up to speed eventually.
So when you went to a title, you've gone from, this area to being there with Tom Drain and all the other riders that come up in your class.
Yeah.
Was it a big threat? Was it a weird feeling to go to that or what?
Not really, because I was like, mainly my mates at the time were like Josh Hall and Travis Hall.
Yep.
So I didn't really know anyone else. So I kind of just hung around Josh and Travis and yeah, like I didn't really matter what it was. It was just fun at the time and obviously just a kid having fun.
The era that you're currently in of riders, like you look at Travis, Josh, yourself, Drains, far out, there's some talented youth coming through racing in Australia, hey? Yeah,
there's a lot. It's a bit eye-opening now to see how much talent there is and how majority of the kids are doing well. And yeah, it's great to see because it shows that Australia has a lot of talent. Yep. And yeah.
And there's pathways now, like obviously rookies, the Moto3 series. We've seen obviously, different riders go through it over the years, and that CV, isn't it? That's what it's called.
Yeah, CV. They call it Junior GP now.
It's confusing.
Yeah,
I must say, like living in Australia, it's a bit confusing because like we've just had CV now. There's just different tiers of it, and it's very difficult to actually find things on that. I don't know if you've had to look here, but it's quite a search to try and find different things of results and stuff sometimes.
Yeah, it's difficult if you're new to it.
Yep.
It's challenging, and obviously if the time zone difference, like in Spain, we're 9 hours behind you guys, so yeah, the time zone to watch the races, you'd be up at midnight while it's, I don't know, in the morning or midday there, so yeah.
It's difficult. What's the, now you're saying your dad rode bikes and race bikes. I didn't know this, but I thought he was a car. So he was a motorcycle racer?
Yeah, so he raced bikes for a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, he did it. I think he started quite late.
Right.
But his main focus and what he raced was dirt track.
Yep.
So he did a lot of that.
So the bike thing for you, though, wasn't turned on until that day with Mike Hatches?
Pretty much. Because I never was around bikes at that time. It was mainly just cars, like going to Sandown, Bathurst, like those things. I used to like look up to Craig Lowndes and people like that a lot. So all I wanted to do was cars, and then kind of went to the bikes. I thought, oh, this is fun. So yeah.
A lot of motorsport people can turn their hand at anything within motorsport, right? Now, with your group of mates, do you ever go go-karting? Like over, say, when you're back in Spain or here or anything?
No, not really. Just kind of chill out.
Be interesting to see what you were like now. Because like you've got your skill set of racecraft and everything from the bike.
Yeah.
Supermoto on go-kart tracks. Be interesting to see where you're at in a kart now. You know, muscle memory comes back, and just to see where you're at.
I'd be useless, but yeah, I actually kind of want to get a kart and go out to Ipswich and have a go. I'm keen to have a go.
Yeah, it is a good sport.
Yeah,
you know, the karting side of it. So now you've obviously been to Barley Ranch. Tell us about that. That was one thing. Where did you proceed after that? You got fourth, and was that a New South Wales title?
Yeah, it was a New South Wales title.
Yep.
Can't really remember after that, but mainly it was doing Aussie titles, obviously Queensland titles. We were doing everything.
Yep.
And then when I was about 9, that's when the road career started, sort of. Started with GP Juniors or something like that, run by Mark Brax.
Yep.
And then I started doing Moto Stars events with Damon Cudlin as well.
Yep.
And then, yeah, regarding the dirt track scene, yeah, pretty much just after that was doing everything we could. Club days at Hatches, club days at Brisbane. Yep. We went to Townsville, people like that, so...
So you're just riding every weekend?
Pretty much.
Yeah. How do you balance school, riding, training? Like, 'cause at the successful point of it, you're a professional. Like, no matter your age, like, everything's focused on that at some point, you know? How do you balance it all?
Yeah, that was good because it was challenging a lot.
Yeah.
To try and balance school and stuff. It was all right in primary school, but as soon as I went to high school, I tried to tell the school what I had on and whatnot, so they helped me whenever they could.
Yeah.
But obviously going to Europe, but yeah, I started to do homeschool, and it was easier, but I struggled a lot to learn. And obviously when I got injured and stuff, I couldn't keep up, so I was behind the 8 ball, and yeah, I was playing catch up a lot.
So I can imagine, you know, coming home a Monday morning after an Australian dirt track title somewhere, and you're thinking about having to go to school the next morning. That'd be a terrible thought.
Yeah, it was kind of a terrible thought, but at the same time, I thought, well, Mum and Dad have put a lot into me. I kind of have to put it back, don't I? So
for sure.
It was funny. We 2019, I did a race in Okayama with Senna.
Yep.
We flew home. It was like a 7-hour flight. We landed early in the morning, and I was like to Dad, oh, can I have the day of school? He said, no. Drove home, got changed, and he dropped me off. And he said, see you later. And I was in by 9 o'clock. No one knew that I went to Japan for the week.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Far out, that's crazy, isn't it? Like, and you just go back to normal life.
Pretty much.
Because you come from, like that would be so hard. 'Cause especially racing over there, you'd be racing with some pretty hardcore racers in that point too.
Yeah, well, for me, like the first year of road racing was Age of Talent Cup, like internationally.
Yep.
I went to Japan a few times with Senna to like get a bit more experience since I was only 12 at the time and I couldn't really race here. Had to wait until I was 13, so I went over there and did a few races, and yeah, it was tough because I'd never really had any experience on the road.
Yep.
I was alright. I wasn't quick, but that year was a lot of practice, a lot of hours put into it to try and get up to speed, and it's paid off, obviously, with where I'm at now.
For sure.
But yeah, it was difficult.
What's the age difference between you and Senna?
Senna's 17, so about 12 months or so.
Okay.
I think he's in August, his birthday.
Right, so it's about 12 months. So it's sort of like one year ahead in most of the sport, you know, just sort of as you're going up the classes through things like dirt track and that, you're sort of in that bracket, aren't you?
Yeah, kind of when I started, he was at the end point of bumping up. So yeah, pretty much.
How was it? Like, who'd you travel with when you went to Japan, though, like those first few times?
Those first few times with Senna.
Yeah.
So, and Kazoo.
And Kazoo, yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. A lot of laughs out of it.
Because I was going to say, like, you're 12 years old. Do you just travel as a child over? Like, does your dad go? Or
yeah, Dad went as well. Yep. So it was like Dad, obviously me, Jonathan, Senna's dad, and then Kazoo. So it was like a little group, and yeah, it was good.
So riding for Kazoo, because Kazoo has a few laughs.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was fun. Oh, honestly, each time I think about Japan just makes me smile because it was just so much fun.
Really?
I really enjoyed it. The atmosphere of MFJ Championship was cool.
Yep.
To have like, from being here, there's like 5 NSFs. To go on over there, there's like 25.
Wow.
We raced against a few girls. One was deaf, so she had like special lights on her bike to when to shift gears and like pretty cool stuff to like see. And obviously at the time, wanted to do Moto3 and go that way. To see that many blocks was pretty cool.
Mate, to be 12 years old, like you were at that time, that's an experience that's like non-purchasable. You know what I mean? Like it's such a, to see a deaf girl riding a motorcycle with lights, like, you know what I mean? Like there's so many different things. Like that's a pretty cool experience to be able to achieve.
Yeah, at the time you think, oh, yeah, cool. Like you want to race, like you just want to race.
Yep.
But when you look back at it, you're like, damn, that's pretty cool to like admire what that person's done. And like obviously she's a bit older, but it doesn't matter. Like you're deaf, like it's impressive. Like to race a motorbike at that, and she was pretty good too. Like it was really cool.
And to have the assistance and the knowledge to be able to just, this is how we're going to do it. Like
yeah.
What's it like racing 25 of them on track at once?
Not too bad. I struggled when I first went there. My first race was in Motegi. I think I was like around top 15 to 10. That was mainly where I was at. The second time when I went back, I improved. I was battling with Senna inside the top 10.
Yep.
But it was really good because I learned a lot of craft, as I needed the race craft for Asia Talent Cup.
Yep.
That year was a really big learning year, and I got some decent results in Asia Talent Cup, but there's a lot of crashes too.
How do you go with crashes? Are you a good crash? You know how some people just can crash and they just escape things? Are you a good crasher?
Yeah, I thought I was until 2021. I smashed myself into pieces and
what happened
pretty.
there, mate?
Yeah, so my first injury in 21, I got taken out at Valencia in qualifying.
Whereabouts?
As you exit out of turn 1, like the little straight.
Yep.
I was like in behind Mariaggi and I got a better run on him. And like I was there and then he got kind of swerved to the left and just clipped me front wheel and I went over.
Yep.
And that fractured my collarbone, so I was out for about 6 weeks. Well, humming and hawing to get surgery, but because of the age I was at, I was only about 14, so to get it was a bit humming and hawing, but I wish I got it because my collarbone was healing like that, and each time I fell off, it was just a pain in the ass.
It just kept flaking.
Yeah, it just kept flaking, and it was never comfortable. So I missed out 6 weeks. I missed out on all races, honestly.
Yeah.
I returned back. My first race was at Saxon Ring. That was my best weekend yet.
Yep.
Learned the new circuit, and obviously being back with RedBull was good.
Mm-hmm.
I think I scored inside top 10 in both races, I think. So it was a good achievement. I felt pretty happy. And then the following week after that was Portimao for M33 Junior. And I was having a good weekend. Qualifying wasn't as good, but the practice and stuff, it showed that I had some sort of speed.
Yep.
And for the race, I kind of wanted to turn it around and show that I'm fast. And obviously, if what's happened, that I'm still quick. And I wanted to prove a bit of a point, but it was a bit of a shocking race at the start. It all ended pretty early anyway, but I just wanted to push on and charge my way forward, and I did. But I kind of wasn't thinking enough and just got carried away and smashed the throttle and sent myself to the moon, and broke me femur when I had my crash, and then they come back around for another lap and they got my tibia, so I had a compound fracture.
Ooh,
Yeah.
So you're sitting in Portimao with that. Dad's over there with you?
Yeah, Dad came over a week before, so it was a bit of an experience for him, I guess, because he hasn't seen me. I went over with Steph in March.
Yep.
And he came over a week before that accident, so he got a full experience of it.
5 months. He comes over the week before and then,
Yeah, and basically spent almost a month in hospital with me, sleeping on a chair, so it wasn't pretty.
So tell me what happens, like at that time, what are you, 14? At that point?
Yeah, I was 15 by then.
15?
Yeah.
Is there insurance as a racer? Like, what happens with that stuff?
You got to get insurance. So we have, I'm not sure, best doctors or something, but you need insurance.
Part of the series and that you have to.
Yeah, but just internationally.
Yeah.
So we had insurance. Dorna helped a bit, as it was a bit, not pointing fingers, but a bit of their fault as well with the accident. So anyway, moving on. Yeah, I had to have insurance, obviously. So I had spent about 2 weeks in Portimao. I had my first surgery overnight, and because how my leg wasn't good, floating knee and stuff, and basically my legs just flopping. they just put like rails in me to like stabilize the bones, make sure like the swelling goes down but like releases it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I had that on for about 2 weeks. And then I got privately transferred to Barcelona on a little plane.
Yeah.
And then I went for surgery with Dr. Genevera, and he put rods in my leg.
Wow. How'd you go after that? Like, how'd your mobility go? Like, that's a huge injury.
Yeah, it was at the time, and mentally it was tough. I really struggled a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough, really tough. To look back at it now, it's good to see how far I've come. At the time, I wasn't very happy, and mobility took a while. It took me about 2 months to recover, and the problem was my femur was healing fine, mainly because of the compound fracture in my tibia, which I'm sure if people see me, they see the big scar on my leg, looks like a shark attack. But
jeez.
Yeah, it took a while, but it's been pretty good now.
Mate, the thing is too, I guess you're conscious, right? Because like you've had a leg injury.
Yeah.
But the rest of your body's pretty good, you know? So you're sitting there, you're very aware of everything else that's happening in the world. You're looking at, all the race results coming through. That'd be tough.
Yeah, it was tough, but at the time, in those, like, to get through it, I was telling myself I'm quitting. So I just was, like, trying to disconnect. Just, like, I was missing home a lot. I was missing my mum and sister, FaceTiming them a lot. It was good to, like, be able to speak to people that have been put through those type of injuries, because it was the first time I've had, like, a major injury.
Yep.
And, it took a bit out of me, but to speak to people about it, and like Brock Pearson, Bayless, Herfoss, because he did it a week before me.
Yep.
It helped me a lot to like push on. And then obviously I was telling myself I'm done, and then the day I got was allowed to leave hospital, I went and watched Jack, Billy and a couple of others at the kart track, and I was like, oh, I want to ride again.
Wow. It happened that quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool.
And that's, yeah. It's amazing, like, I know when I spoke to Darcy Ward, right, the people who reach out in times where something's happened, you know, like, he had Mark Webber and all sorts of different folk. He had obviously a crazy accident with what happened to Darcy and everything, but it was interesting just, people do care. You know, it doesn't matter what you are, but if somebody's had that before, it just helps so much to have that support and say, this is what's, these are the things you're going to expect, or, just a conversation, I guess, doesn't it? It helps.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive to see how much of a community we really are.
Yep.
Like, how much we do care about each other, and, like, as a big bike community to all come together when someone's injured or whatnot, it's pretty impressive to see, like, all the paddock. I got, not spammed, but, like, so many messages and saying, get well soon, by, like, so many riders, and even GP, like, riders, like, they don't have to take their time to say that to me, but they do. So, to see how much people care, it's pretty mind-blowing.
So that happened at Portimao, so that's middle of the year, September. Did you race again that year?
Yeah, so it happened 4th of July. Know that pretty well.
Yeah, right.
It took 2 months, and I wasn't really sure if I was going to be able to return.
Yep.
I missed out on doing the last round of RedBull, but speaking to the doctor, going back and forward, they said I could probably come back and finish the final round of Valencia for CV.
Yeah.
I wanted to try and make Misano. The doctor said, yes, I can ride practice, but not race. But it rained during the practice and qualifying. I thought, nah, there's no point. Like, all the hard work I've done, and if I have one simple crash, kind of just delays the progress again. So kind of stayed put, and I was back to riding in a few months after that. I got given the sort of clear, just simply to cut laps, not try and set the world on fire. So I simply listened to that and was just constantly trying to ride again, get a bit of bike fitness, and obviously try and get a bit of mobility back in my leg.
How long did it take for you to trust it?
Well,
do you trust it now? That's probably
trust it now, but honestly, I trusted it after I had a high side. When I come back for that last round, it was half wet, half dry, and I come across like a a wet patch in turn 1. We had slicks on. I've railed in there. It's just massive high side. I slapped my legs. I was just like, oh, this is going to hurt. And I was making sure I was all right, and then took myself a minute, and then I got up and hobbled off. I was like, all right, I'm okay, but just, calm down a bit.
Because that's like you hear of like football players and that, like say they do an ACL, it's fully recovered. You got the all clear, but to step off to that foot or move to that foot, there's just so much, it's just trust, because you've gone through a program to get to that point. You know, how much do I push it? How much do I trust it? But you must have banged yourself down pretty hard on that other high side that you just mentioned too. Yeah,
I did. Especially I landed on that side, so it did hurt. But exactly that, like I've been able to work on my leg and whatnot, so it's never the same as what it used to be. The muscle strength is a lot different.
Yep.
So each day I've been trying to do it with elastic bands. Just if I'm watching telly, just lying down, doing movements with it, just trying to strengthen my glutes and whatnot. So yeah, you understand when is the time, when is the not. I still get a little bit of pain, but I'm at the point now, it's almost going to be 18 months in July, so it's kind of coming back to normal.
Awesome. It's cool to hear.
Yeah.
What's it like riding a Moto3 bike?
Pretty cool. Every other kid's dream, I guess, to ride a Moto3, so to actually have a ride on like what you watch on telly was pretty cool, and to even experience having a wild card in the World Championship was even cooler again. So to ride the Moto3, they're about 80 kilos, so they're pretty light. They got a bit of power. Like if you watch a few videos of me having a high side, I fly pretty high. But they're a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
On rails. Like what about that? What's the feeling?
Oh, it's difficult because the feeling you get. It's a Grand Prix chassis, so it's all stiff. Like if you come from production bikes, it's not as easy, but you kind of get used to it. And obviously, with the previous years of me riding a Moto3 NSF, it's like a little bit lower to the proper Moto3.
Yep.
You get a feeling and understanding of what that tyre does, and obviously the chassis. So to get on it was pretty cool, and I loved it. I remember the first time I rode, I couldn't stop smiling, and it was pretty cool.
What's the grip like? Is it just endless?
Yeah, to a certain point.
Nothing's endless.
So you've skinnier tyre, so I don't know how to describe it, but compared to a bigger tyre, you're not going to be spinning it up and stuff. It doesn't have enough power.
Yep.
So it's a lot of corner speed required. Just trying to flow, obviously, because obviously being the lightest you can and carry as much corner speed you can, you're going to be the fastest in Moto3, and that's really what it's all about. So, every little bit, like the 1%ers of tuck in, and it's so crucial in Moto3.
So to work on things for corner speed and that, do you have like drills? Like, do you ride an ovale? Or what do you do when you're back over there? What do you do?
When I was in Moto3, obviously, riding ovales and whatnot, a lot of flat track. And obviously I set myself drills, and you're obviously going to keep learning because you're not perfect. There's always stuff to improve on. And I learned a lot and was able to like benefit it those first couple of years in Moto3 juniors, because it's very simple what I had to work on. But not simple at the time, but just to do laps.
Yep.
So any sort of bike, like little bikes and whatnot, to focus on a little bit more wider entry, whatnot, a bit more flow. I could work on that a lot, and it helped. So,
like, and I'm going to go backwards in a sec about racing in America and flat track and stuff, but to bring it to sort of now, like watching you on an R6 here, like you've been to different places, set lap records in 2023, right? You're riding very well, right?
Yeah.
What's been the biggest thing about that? Like, you're like the field we've got in super sport here is quick, like really, really quick. It's a competitive field, but how can you be 1.5? Like, obviously it's practice and drills and corner speed, but how are you doing that?
Well, most of that's come from my experience in Europe.
It's all that, eh?
Yeah, 30 other guys that are fast. Like,
Yeah.
you can still learn from the guy that's in last place. Like, sometimes their lines are completely different to what you're doing, but you're, oh, that's actually not too bad. So you're always learning stuff. And, yeah, in Moto Street, it always requires corner speed. Like, you can't come in too hot. You can't stuff up the exit. You need to just make it as one. So to go back on the Super Sport, yeah, I kind of just ride it like it's a Moto 3, even though you can't really ride it like a Moto 3. But that's where my corner speeds come from, because I've been riding Moto 3s for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. So it's been a while.
So smooth. Like, just like I've watched at Sydney, Phillip Island now this year, and just so smooth. Like, it's, you know, just hitting the marks every time. Apart from that one Phillip Island thing that we'll get to, the bike hasn't been out of shape. It just looks so fantastic for the year. I'm like, smooth is fast, that's the old saying, but it's been just real cool to watch. Like, you just got just such a fluid motion the whole time, and just the laps, it's just consistent, fast. There's no way that you look at it and go, oh, how would I make up that? It's like perfect laps, and that's what a lap record is. And it's been cool to watch, man.
Yeah, it was good. At Phillip Island, well, especially at Eastern Creek, I wanted to prove that I'm quick. Obviously, I was doing all right at the bend, but I wanted to try and break lap records, be consistent at that pace and whatnot. So, yeah, I had a good setup, obviously, with my little crew. And, at Phillip Island, I really wanted to break the lap record. I kind of just kept it to myself because, as we all know what Phillip Island's like, you can have a sunny day and it's mint, and other times, you don't know, it's going to be raining or whatnot. But, to achieve that was pretty satisfying, and to prove myself that I can do it was even better, because it just a little bit more of a confidence boost to do that. So, to get it done in the first race, basically on my first full flying lap, it was pretty cool.
And to be that record sat for so long.
Yeah.
Like, Brian's lap record is, what year was it? It was 9, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Might have been 2009.
Yeah, probably. It was 14 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah.
So to hit that, man, that's pretty
it's
cool.
impressive to see how a lap record like that has held for that long. Like,
the bike evolution, track surfacing.
There's many
tires.
things you can make a list of, and everything's different to, like, from then to now.
Yep. His lap in 09 must have been.
That would have been mega.
Lap. Yeah. To hold it for so long, that must have been a huge lap. So, tell me about racing American flat track. What's that like?
Yeah, so I went and did that in 2018, AMA amateurs.
Yep.
With Tom Drain. We were racing the 85 TTX class, which is standard, and the mod class.
Yep.
So Tom and I had just KTM 85s, had suspension done to it, and kept them standard so we can ride in both classes.
So, did you bring your fork and that over from here, or
no? We got all our bikes.
All done up
like,
there?
we bought the bikes over there. I think what was the name? Suspension. Can't fully remember, but they're pretty famous. I think they did Jack's as well.
Yep.
Solid Performance. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
They did our suspension, and it was just all kind of kicked off from there. It was in Illinois. I think, how many races did we have? 30. We had TT, short track, half mile.
Damn.
So, it was a pretty cool experience.
What's half mile like in 85? You have a bit of time on your hands, wouldn't you?
Yeah, long and boring. I struggled a lot on the half mile. I think I got third and stuff. Tom cleaned up. He was riding really good.
Yeah.
But, Tom and I cleaned up basically against all the Yanks in 85. He won the championship, but him and I were basically battling between us. So, it was pretty cool.
At what moment does, like, do you look at going road? Like, obviously you're saying about with Braxy, with the Junior Carp and everything. It's because it's a big change, because, you're riding with your peers on dirt track. Not everyone makes the move over to road race. What made you do it originally?
So I kind of got into it from Wayne Hall, like Travis and Josh's dad. He kind of got me into it through that. Started just motard 65 at Lakeside, and where else did we go? Mainly just Lakeside.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just for fun. But that particular year, 2018, I think I was I on the 70 or 70 or 80 on the Metro kit, and yeah, I was doing Braxy's championship.
Yep.
So kind of that was the year where I was doing like road as well. So I was doing a mix of both.
Sort of like the Pages at the moment.
Yeah.
Because they if you look at calendars, man, they've got a pretty well stacked calendar at the moment. What they're doing, their program. And
yeah, they live one door down, so I'm always seeing them and asking them how it's going, and yeah, they got a busy schedule.
Yeah, for sure. It's cool, and they're following the path. It's like the modern path. I feel like they're following the path of what you've done. You know, the drains. They're following that sort of pathway and succeeding too.
Yeah, it's great to see. They're doing a lot, but they have the big passion for it, and I think obviously if you're going to do it, you need passion.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, you need it. So to see how much fun they're having as a family, it's really cool to see.
Yeah, no, they're heavily involved, and yeah, it's they're killing it. They're going good. Like I watched them Bathurst the other week, and fast track. How did you enjoy it last year?
Bathurst? Yeah, it was pretty good. I was a bit useless, honestly. I struggled. I rode the 252 two-stroke.
Yep.
I won that, but on the 450 I struggled. I didn't even make the repechage. I missed out by 2 points because I had one bad heat and missed a start in the other, but it doesn't matter. It was just for fun, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'd never ridden a track like that quick since Barley Ranch, but I only rode Barley Ranch on a 65 and 85, so
it's fast, eh?
The speed difference was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I couldn't believe that was my first time there the other week, and that would have been an eye opener for you to go and ride. Like you just get there and it's fast, like real fast.
Yeah, it was something I always wanted to do because I remember they ran the 85 class, but I think you had to be a certain age.
Right.
And I missed out, and then they stopped doing the Bathurst event there, so I was like kind of bummed because I really wanted to do it. So to do the event was, kind of one ticked on the list, I guess you can say. So
it's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
How do you go about this? Moto3 last year, doing the wild cards, right?
Yep.
How, like, your name's been around now for a fair few years within the media of what you're doing with rookies and everything, but all of a sudden you get a debut of a MotoGP ride. The 658 team, pretty damn cool, as well, at Misano. How do you deal with all the pressure of that? Like, you just seem like a pretty cruisy person, to be honest. Is that how you deal with it? Just, I just do my thing and ride? What do you do?
I try to be humble as I can be, I guess. It's challenging over there until you have a go, you'll understand how hard it is. So, in my opinion, I just try to be humble and appreciate the opportunities I get, because not every kid like me has that opportunity. So you can't just enjoy it. But yeah, the pressure wasn't as much pressure until FP1. I started to feel it, just the nerves, and I didn't feel like I rode good because I was just running on like so much adrenaline and so nervous. To do a wild card at Simicelli's home track, it's pretty special, and it was an opportunity that I'll never forget. So
what happens, like you say, Monday morning comes around, because it happened pretty quickly, that one, didn't it?
It went so fast.
So you say a Monday, or I don't know what day, but say a Monday that you get a call to say, hey, we would like you to ride this bike. You get to the track by Wednesday. What's the first introduction? What happens out the back? Like, here's your leathers, here's your helmet, here's our bike, off you go. Like, how does it work?
Well, planning, because I broke my collarbone the first round of CEV.
Yep.
So I was in Catalonia GP, seeing the team and seeing some other people, and we were speaking about doing a wild card, or be a replacement for Fallon or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we were speaking about it. We we're trying to decide where can we do one. Obviously not clashing with the RedBull, because with the RedBull you can't really do that. So we said, well, we'll try Misano. So I kind of just kept it quiet the whole time. That's why I did the CIV round, since I missed out the previous year. I didn't get any laps around Misano, so that CIV round was mainly for that, to try and learn the track, and the results didn't really matter. I was just there to learn the track, and obviously I had some of my team members there, so to help understand it quick.
Yep.
Get an understanding was, pretty good.
That makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's always, and it's good, there's always a plan to something. Like if you've, there's always something, isn't there? The way, we'll do this because in the future we're going to be doing this, That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty tough to organise because it was my bike to do that CIV round, and you need a certain engine from the Italian Federation, and my one wasn't. Yeah, it was a lot of hard work for especially Dad, mainly him, because he's the one that supplies me a bike and whatnot. So I was really grateful for everything that the people around me put in.
Yep.
Because obviously to get the opportunity of doing a wild card, you want to try and do well.
For sure.
So I was pretty flat out trying to do it, and looking back on it, it was really cool.
So you get team photos get done. Like, because all this stuff happens, like I do a lot of the social media for a couple of different brands that you've ridden with here locally.
Yep.
And we get sent the photos through the week, say if it's a helmet that you wear, which you're not wearing this year. So you know what I mean? Like you get different photos of things like that. This is the press release thing. And then when FP1 comes, when you've got all those nerves, does it disappear? Or does it just adrenaline and it just takes over?
I thought I was handling it pretty good, up until the Friday morning. Like, I was pretty calm. Thursday was all right, getting pictures and doing that. I was all calm and collected, and then just as soon as I put my suit on, I was just starting to, I didn't know what to do. I was just so nervous but excited. But obviously, the first session was tough because there was not a new tyre compound, but it was new to me because I've never used it.
Yep.
So it was a harder compound. And it rained overnight, so the track was all green, a bit slippery.
Wow.
And I was kind of stressing because I wasn't getting a good feeling with it, especially it's a new tyre I've never used, so I'm not used to it.
Yep.
And I wasn't really taking time to understand it. I just wanted to go because I could see when I come in after the first 15 minutes, I look at Fodgy's on top and he's already at lap record pace. I'm like, how is that even possible?
Wow.
First 15 minutes, so it was mind blowing, but just simple things like that made me realize hey, World Championship, they're not here mucking around, they're straight into it. So I learned a lot in those sort of aspects, and that's what I was training to do.
Yep.
Just try and make it happen straight away. It's a lot of risk, but that's how it is in World Championships. So to learn and see what those sort of guys do, I really look back on it and appreciate it.
Isn't it crazy that any of those top, say it's 26 riders, that's about right, I think.
Yeah, I think 30.
30 riders?
Yep.
30 riders are the 30 best in the world. There's no weaknesses there, hey? It's a strong field.
Yeah.
All 30.
I didn't have an expectation, but I was aiming for top 15. I thought if I can be in the top 15, that's a good achievement, and I thought it was achievable. But obviously after FP1, I was scratching my head a bit, I've got a bit of work to do. So I tried to just knuckle down, push on with it, and exactly that. There's so many fast people, it's incredible, honestly, when you get higher up in the ranks, how good people are. And the time difference between them all. In the end, I think I was 1.5 off Fodgy's pole, and I was 27th, and I was just
1.5 seconds. It's nothing, eh?
Yeah.
It's a lot in racing, but it's nothing. Wow.
It's nothing, but as soon as you're on track, you're holy crap, that was so much. Yeah.
26 lap race or whatever Misano is.
Yeah.
It's a bit.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So how do you? So what happens after that? What do you do? Do you go back to the drawing board and go, okay, these are the things I need to work on. I need to more corner entry. What did you learn from that?
It was difficult because Misano, I was still green to it. Didn't really understand a lot. I'm racing against guys that Fodgy's had, I don't know, 10 years in the World Championship. Yep. So he can ride around that track with his eyes shut.
Yep.
I'm flat out trying to hit the apex.
Yeah.
So I just learnt so many basic things, and obviously I don't want to always say everything because that's kind of what I got out of that.
Yeah.
But to understand the way they do things, and I worked on it. it was a bit tough to like see how fast they were and how kind of down I was, but I kind of got over it and was like, well, if that's what I want to do, I've got to step it up a bit and work on those things. So I took a break, I went home for a week, and then come back at Aragon. I said, well, I'm gonna like pick up where we like start off, I guess. Just working towards after Misano, just working in a different way, because in CV you have the Thursday unofficial practice, 3 40-minute sessions. So
wow,
you can cut around all day, but I was like, no, I just want to get straight into it. Like, no stuffing around. Like, I want to focus on this and work like that, because that's what it is in the World Championship.
Mate, cool outlook. This is what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, this is it. Like, it's a pretty cool outlook to have.
Yeah, and it started to pay off, and the results wasn't as much. Got a bit unlucky, but I crashed out and whatnot, but I improved on those things.
Yeah.
Obviously, the weight difference in the end was starting to play a bit of a factor in it. But
what do you mean there?
Like, I was a bit more heavier compared to the other guys.
Yep.
The KTM was a bit more stronger, like off the exit of the corners, like those first, second gears, they were a little bit stronger, just made a little bit of a gap to the Honda.
Yep.
But in the flowing corners, the Honda was good. Like, there's a bit of a, I guess, good and bad about both bikes.
Yep.
But yeah, the weight difference started to play a bit of a factor as I was a little bit more heavier. I was struggling in a straight line compared to the other guys.
Man, that's amazing to think. Like, yeah, it's such a mathematical sport, you know?
Yeah.
Moto2 will be better.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I'm not really that heavy compared to other guys in Moto2, so I can just try and get a bit more stronger and obviously fitter. So, yeah, I've been happy with it.
So, obviously, the R6 is a production motorcycle here, but torque horsepower and all those sorts of things. Riding here this year with that has probably been good for you for training, and it's not a full-blown, race non-production bike, but it'll be a good learning curve to get into that Moto2 series, I'm guessing, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the weight difference is not so much.
Yep.
Obviously, chassis and power livery is different, but it's close to what I'm going to ride. If I was still riding a Moto3, yeah, it's very different. When I had the test, I was a bit surprised how heavy it felt and stuff like that. But yeah, exactly. To do so many laps on the 600 kind of prepares me to, obviously, when I start testing on the Moto2. So yeah, it's been paying off.
So when you're back over Andorra?
Yeah,
where are you
Barcelona.
Based? Barcelona?
Yep.
What do you do? What's your week? What's a regular week over these past few years been? Cycle,
gym. Usually I try to ride once or twice a week.
Motorbike of some form?
Yeah, moto, like flat track, ovale, mini bike, or try and do a track day somewhere like Valencia or Barcelona.
Every week?
Yeah, usually we try and find something. And the good thing over there, which I can take it as an advantage compared to the guys here, is that we can ride basically whenever we want at a go-kart track. Like, it's a lot compared to the guys here.
Yeah. So how's that work? Like, as someone that's from here that hasn't been there myself, how does that work? Do they just have organised meets, or do you have a group of you just go, we're going to rock up here and race supermotos? What's it work? How's it work?
Well, where I was based, there's about a track 5 minutes down the road. It's called Carden Salent. It's where I was always riding over Vale, and you see some of the GP guys riding over Vales too. That's the track that I was at. Obviously I had a trainer, Aleix Santa Cruz, so he kind of organised when to do it.
Yep.
But pretty much the track was free every day. You just told them, hey, we want to come. I don't know, pay €80 for it for the day, and off you go. But usually if there was carts there or something, it was pretty crazy. We'd have 15 minutes each. They would have 15. Like,
that's cool. Yeah,
it made it work, and yeah, it was cool.
Now, to go to a track day at Valencia, what would you ride? Would that be the three bike? Like, would you take a team? Would you? How do you do that? Like a track day through the week, what happens there?
So obviously a calendar, you just try and find track days. Like here at home, like you got champion ride days and whatnot.
Same sort of deal.
Yeah, so you just see that, and obviously I got a 600 to train on, which I used a little bit, but not as much. And I had that Beyond set to like basically Moto3 prototype
Yep.
with a Yamaha 450 engine in it. So I was using that quite a bit.
Yep.
And yeah, obviously there's many other tracks we went to that are like just in Spain, like Alcaraz and stuff. Not sure if you heard of them, but
Yep.
it's just like there's plenty of tracks to go and ride at.
Man, do you love it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you've been home for 5 months. That's good to be home. You must be excited to get back over there and get to work. You know?
Yeah, I'm getting keen. I usually try to not think about it as much, but obviously when I'm training, I'm working towards that particular goal.
Yep.
And I'm starting to get pretty keen to head back over there and get things underway. Starting to itch a little bit.
Round 1, where does it start?
So first round is in 7th of May at Estoril.
Yep.
So when I get there, I fly out 1st of April.
Mm-hmm.
I got a week to settle in, get over jet lag, whatnot. And then I drive south of Spain to, I think, Almeria or something.
Yep.
To do a couple of days of testing there. Got a week to spare. And then I'm testing at Estoril again. Then I stay a couple of days there in Brisbane. And then, our first round kicks off.
Wow. It's pretty crazy. There's a lot on in 5 weeks' time.
Yeah, honestly, when I get there, I'm pretty much on the go, so which is good.
Yeah.
Keeping busy. Doing what I want to be there for. So I'm not just sitting around waiting for it. So it's all go, go, go.
I think the good thing with that too is like the busyness is a good thing. It's what you want to do, and the busyness keeps away that little homesick part that's going to happen to everyone. It's just like I'm so busy that this is what I want to do. This is it.
Yeah.
What's been a pinch yourself moment in your career so far? Like how old are you now?
I'm 16.
You're 16 now. So you're basically 9 to 10 years into racing bikes. What's been a pinch yourself thing that you've got to do? Might even be racing. It could be whatever. But what's been one of those things that you go, wow, that was a pretty cool moment?
Basically what I'm doing right now.
The podcast?
Oh, no, like just, yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Racing in Europe, looking like in the moment. You don't really have time to look back.
Yeah.
But obviously when I come home and I scroll through my phone, looking at pictures and whatnot, like, it's pretty cool to do what I'm doing. Obviously anyone would say that.
Yeah.
So, like, those years racing in Japan, like, those are times that I really enjoyed it. And, I don't know how to describe it, but, it brings you, like, that satisfaction, and you just want to, like, keep it going.
Yep. Who's been biggest rival?
Obviously, last year was Manny.
Yeah.
Don't know. Dirt track was Tom.
Yep.
Road, don't know, honestly. There's so many. But it was hard because I wasn't really in the fight for a championship with injuries and whatnot. But obviously in Moto3 was Jose Rueda. He was tough. He was real fast last year.
Yep.
He's shown that he's ready for the World Championship. And, it's good to see because he was on rails last year.
What's been your best bike you've ridden? Dirt track, supermoto, whatever. What's been the funnest thing?
Moto2 was pretty cool when I first got on it. I was pretty mind blown how quick that was, and
just power.
Yeah, just power. Like I didn't ride anything powerful like till then.
Yep.
But obviously that, and I had a few laps at Eastern Creek on the super bike. So that was pretty cool.
How'd that come about?
Well, it's Marcel's old bike.
That
he raced at the Bend. Dad bought it off Jack, so the idea was just to cut some laps. I wanted to do the 2 sessions. I did the first session on it. That was pretty cool. And then the second one, I rolled out and then started to rain over the back. So I thought, I'll just park it. And it was good. I'm looking forward to having a few more laps on it later on.
Yeah, that's a cool looking machine too, that R1.
Yeah.
And Marcel Schroeder's one, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And was it fun, the first session?
Yeah. It didn't give me like a surprise how much quicker it was. I thought I was going to scare the crap out of myself, but just mainly the torque on the exits of the corner, how it wheelies and moves around underneath you was a bit of a surprise, but the top end speed, I don't know, it wasn't like, holy crap, it was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, right. I guess the Moto2 bike already has prepared you for a bit of that sort of stuff, hasn't it?
Yeah, I guess so, and obviously riding the 600, so...
Yeah.
600, you're trying to carry more corner speed compared to a superbike. Superbike's a bit more stop, turn and squirt on the exits.
Yep. What's the plan now? You're 16. What happens now? Obviously you're going back this year, but what's the roadmap? Like, what's the goals? Where do you go?
Yeah, well, so this year I've got Moto2 Junior. Yep. It's going to be a learning year. Kind of want to prove a point that I'm quick, and I'm there for me, not doing it for anyone else. It's always been like that, but it's at the point now I really want to show that I'm competitive and I can win. Obviously to do World Championship, you got to be 18 now. So this will be a learning year, like stepping towards next year. Yep. And then next year really trying to show that I'm here to win again and try and win the championship, and obviously try and get some sort of wild card or some opportunity for that next step into the World Championship.
Yeah. So could you, in theory, at 17, do a wild card, like with an age?
No.
It's just not possible now, hey?
Yeah. Dorna gave me dispensation for the Moto3.
Yep.
But since I'm on the Moto2 now, no, just...
Got to be 18.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah. So you learning year, racing year, you're 18 the year after.
Pretty much.
Yep. And then the world, whatever happens?
Yeah, see how it goes.
Yep.
Obviously, the next step overall, I want to be in World Championship, and yeah, obviously see how it goes from there.
Yep. And what about coming home this year? You'll come home halfway through the year, just take some time out.
Yeah.
Mid-season, and then head back, finish it off. Bend, end of the year?
Yeah.
Plan? Yeah.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Yeah, I'll come home mid-year because I've got a bit of a gap.
Yep.
Unlike the past couple of years, it's been basically over there for 9 months straight. So now I can come home. Makes it a little bit easier for my family, especially.
Yep.
So they're trying to run a business and stuff. So yeah, it'd be a bit more nicer to come home, I guess you can say. And then yeah, obviously come back and then head back over there again, try and finish the season off strong.
Yep.
And yeah, have a bit of fun when I come home, do the bend, and I'm looking at trying to do Brisbane Cup if it's on. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's cool, mate. Well,
Yeah.
it's been great having you home. Like you're so easygoing. You give plenty of time to everyone in the pitch. See you around. It's unreal. Craig Main from Indoor for Media.
Yeah.
Gets some banging photos of you on the supermoto bike. He's going to miss you a lot.
Yeah.
So some of those shots made of you like full lean out at the mini moto.
Yeah.
It's been pretty cool to watch. So thanks for making the time to come in.
No worries.
I can't wait to see what you achieve, and I hope we get to do this again. And you know, I can't wish you anything else but all the success you want. You work so damn hard for it, so it's cool to see, mate.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and appreciate everyone for the nice words and support.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
That's all we have time for on today's show. If you get the chance, head over to YouTube and hit subscribe on the Talk and Chatter page. Also, head over to iTunes and give us a star rating and a review there. It all helps to get the podcast out there. A big thank you goes to everyone that's been doing this already, and we'll be back with another show soon.